So I'm very optimistic that we can have the prime versus prime types of fights that boxing deserves.
What's your relationship with Terrence Crawford? I seen a picture with you. I know he has a mandatory that's one of your fighters. Is there any other further relationships other than just, possibly him fighting against one of your fighters in a mandatory?
Yeah, no, we respect each other. We're exploring options, opportunities. He does have a mandatory with one of our fighters, but look, I'm telling Crawford, let me represent you. Let me help you in making the Errol Spence fight happen. We have experience with how Al Heyman works. We have experience with how PBC works, and we work hand in hand. As you can see, making this fight was not easy, but we made it happen. So now, if we can open that door and have dialogue and make Crawford versus Errol Spence happen, I mean, boxing fans will watch the best fights possible, in the near future.
Sorry, when do you expect the
We can come up with a formula, with some kind of we can come out with an agreement. Then the fight's going to happen relatively soon. These guys want to fight each other really bad, so I can see this fight taking place in the next 3 months.
And so you want to make a deal? I'm sorry, you want to make a deal before you get to the purse bid, is what you're saying?
Well, it all depends on what Crawford is asking for. It all depends on what Rocha's going to cost, and we'll take it from there.
Oscar, you keep on saying this is like a Mayweather Oscar Dela Hoya fight that happened years ago. People comparing it to that. What do you think is running through Ryan's emotions when he faced up Gervonta, finally getting this big fight? What do you think is running through his emotions at the moment? And what have you told him today?
I think it's excitement. You just can't wait. This is exactly what he wanted. He's been wanting this for a very long time. So I think it's all excitement. It's all motivation. Fighting the very best. And Tank Davis, he's motivated.
You said motivated, like exactly how? Like
he's motivated. He's training harder. He's training smarter. He's running more miles. He's doing everything right. He's doing everything perfect. His weight is down. Everything is perfect. So he's motivated not only in training but mentally. He's doing everything right.
Oscar, this is a fight that obviously a huge magnitude. Everybody's anticipating this fight. It's going to open more doors for other fights to fight. During the prime, like Bernard said, like in the 80s and 90s. A perfect example yourself. You always said it. I fought the best. You have to fight the best. You don't have to wait till after they're done with the prime.
Sure.
Yeah, is this going to open the door for this throughout the year, the next few years?
Yeah, well, look, me and Bernard Hopkins are the perfect example of prime versus prime. When I fought, I loved fighting fighters in their prime. That's just who I was. So if we can make this fight happen, then it can open up the doors for the rest of the world, for the rest of the fighters to say, hey, wow, I mean, if these guys can come together, it's PBC, Golden Boy, Showtime, The Zone, then why not fight the very best? This is a perfect commercial for that reason.
Don't know if you said, but you said that this fight's going to end in a knockout. It's going to end.
Yeah.
You think it's going to end in a knockout, or going to go out 12?
No, it's going to end in a knockout. I have no clue who's going to win by knockout, but it's going to end by knockout. I think the power is too much up in that ring. There's two guys who just are very powerful, and they're explosive. So I'm sure, whoever lands the first punch is going to win the fight.
Hey, Oscar, in certain respects, a lot of people are favoring Tank, but I guess in some respects, do you, hold Ryan to a different level? Meaning, like, do you respect him more for taking on such a fight like this, as opposed to like a soft touch and keep building up his record? Like, how much do you respect Ryan for taking this fight?
Yeah, no, look, I respect Ryan for really being so adamant. I remember they asked me like 3 years ago, would you put Ryan against Tank? And I was like, no, I wouldn't. Tank has all this experience, and he's older, and and Ryan Garcia's coming up, and he's younger. But now he's ready. He's ready for anybody, and so I have to respect both guys. I have to respect Tank and Ryan. They're literally fighting each other for supremacy. They're fighting each other to see who's not only the very best, but but to show the world that You know, there's nothing wrong with fighting a prime fighter, an undefeated fighter. There's no reason with it. Look, somebody's always got to go, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Does he kind of remind you of yourself, man? You were a guy when you were in your prime, you fought all of the killers, man. So does Ryan kind of remind you of yourself in that respect?
Well, look, beating a Tank and then following it up with other prime fighters, and yeah, I mean, he's got to earn his stripes, just like everybody else. So, look, I prided myself in fighting the very best, and I sure wish that this fight here kind of reminds the world, reminds the fighters that when you fight the very best, when you fight fighters in their prime, there's no loser. There's no loser whatsoever.
You know, the fight is at 136. Sorry, the fight is at 136, but let's just say 135 for argument's sake. Sure. Would you kind of consider Tank the best guy at 135, better than Shakur, better than Devin? Do you consider Tank the guy?
Tank is the guy.
Gotcha.
Tank is the guy. There's no doubt about it. Gotcha. Tank's the guy.
This is a fight that's been building up for a long time now. Was there anything specific or anything in your mind that kind of put it over the edge as far as now the fight is actually happening?
The fight had a lot of obstacles in front of it, and we just kept chipping away. That's basically it. A lot of patience. That's what it took. But more importantly, the fighters wanted the fight, and we as promoters, we as networks have to listen to the fighters, and so. I'm a huge advocate of young fighters fighting each other, undefeated fighting each other. That's what I did. So I was very adamant as well. Hey, let's make this fight. This fight is what saves boxing today. And here we are.
And Oscar, you were a big lightweight, similar to Ryan's build. How would you fight Tank?
I mean, look, we take a bat in there. I would take a bat in there.
Man, your face
Look,
is red now.
I had, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know what you're saying. You got me there, man. Look, I fought every style. I fought every style in the book. I'm a huge advocate of the jab.
I'm a huge advocate of the jab. The jab stops everything, no matter what. And what you do after, it's on you. But I would throw double, triple, 4 jabs, 5 jabs, and then go combinations left and right. I love throwing 4, 5, 6 punch combinations on your toes. You got to fight them long. But who knows? I don't know the boxing.
Oscar, the boxing boys. How do you feel like to have so many fights that didn't come through, and now this one did? Does that like solidify you as a promoter, as a fighter? Like, how are you feeling to see all this come together?
No, this is just another day at the office. I mean,
okay.
I've promoted the biggest fights in probably the history of the sport in the last 20 years. This is just another testament to both promoters, to both networks, that if the fighters want the fight, then it's up to us to make that happen. And me being an ex-fighter, there's no backing down from that. I have to deliver to my fighter because I was in their shoes at one point as well. So it's very important to me to make these fights happen too. And it's great for the sport. It's great for boxing. You have to really educate the fighters, today's fighters, that it's okay if you fight the very best and you lose. It doesn't matter. It matters how you lose, but there's no loser whatsoever,
And do you have any idea of the undercard? Will you have like some high
We're putting it
gear?
together. Yeah, we're putting it together.
How is it going to work? Are you going to have PBC versus Golden Boy?
Yeah, we're going to be collaborating in one fight, and then we get one fight, they get one fight.
Okay.
So it's a collaboration, but one fighter that I'm already thinking that I'm going to put on is a new kid I have, Floyd Schofield, who I'm really high on.
Oh yeah, he had a great fight last time.
He had a good fight. He's young, but he's got something special.
Okay.
And so that's the type of fighter I'm gonna be putting on the card.
Champ, what do you think are Ryan's greatest advantages over Gervonta? Is it his speed, his size? What do you think is his greatest advantage?
I think there's, you know, every fighter has their advantage. You know, like Tank has a lot of advantages. Ryan has all the advantages. It's a matter of putting it together. It's a matter of what your game plan is inside the ring. You know, look, Ryan is taller. Ryan is strong. You know, he can move on his feet. He can throw combinations, but will he use it that night? You know, it all depends on the fighter inside the ring. You know, so.
Okay, thank you guys. Dante's Boxing Nation, who would you compare Ryan's style to?
It's difficult to say. He has his own unique style. You know, he fights tall. He has that snap left hook. He has that powerful right hand. It's really hard to say. He's very unique.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank you, Champ.